You can see here, we're gonna go over the boardroom sale. I'm super pumped about this. I've only done a couple of these, but the few I've done, the first one I did for $108,000. It was an $18,000 a month deal, I believe over about 6 months or so. So that was the first one I did. I was around like 25 years old. It was a Fortune 500 company that I sold to. And since then, I've done other boardroom deals that haven't been as big, but I'm gonna go over with you what is a boardroom sale, how can you handle a boardroom sale to be able to land the deal, and then also, just, I guess if you have any questions, you guys could drop them in the chat and I'll answer those too. We'll do that live. So boardroom sales, y'all, they're not necessarily always going to be big Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 1000 companies, whatever, Fortune 100 companies. They're not always going to be huge deals. So the few of these that I did, I know I did another one for about $75,000 with a big multifamily company. And with deals like this, it's about understanding number one. Okay, I'm going to start going through this. So just so you know, this can be done in, companies that are only doing a few $100,000 a year, a couple $1 million a year. A boardroom sale is when you're dealing with multiple decision makers in the same room and or people that you will never meet, that this information in the boardroom gets passed off to, that they have to sign off on. My biggest deal, the VP had to sign off on that deal. I never met the VP. I met everyone else that influenced the decision for the VP. And there are other situations where I had all the decision makers in the room, and I'm really excited to share that info with you and what it looks like to have to be able to influence the room and get the room to work with each other. That's a boardroom sale, okay? So number one, I'm gonna go over like how to do this. You wanna be able to set it up, okay? When it comes to the boardroom, you're gonna have a handful of decision makers that you need to find, okay, in there. So my first deal, I had to go through a lot of red tape. I had to go through a gatekeeper to get to the initial decision maker. I had to get that initial decision maker to get the other decision makers. I had to get all three decision makers to influence the VP, okay? That might seem like a lot of steps. Some of you may or may not think $108,000 is a big contract, could be a small contract to you, depending on what types of businesses you sell to. But that's what I had to do for that particular sale, which was my first boardroom sale. And you have to set it up to be able to make sure that the information you give to the initial person you talk to is just enough information for them. Okay, this is where usually people fall off in smaller deals as well, right? Let alone bigger deals with like a boardroom sale, okay? So you have to make sure that if you're talking to a gatekeeper, you're not explaining to the gatekeeper, and if you're unfamiliar with the gatekeeper is, that's the person that's basically they filter out all the noise, okay, all the crap, and to get to the decision maker. So when you're talking to them, you're more so looking to build a friend, to be able to see that you are not, you're not going to be like a threat to anyone's job, that you're only there to help, you're likable. It'll make that gatekeeper look good, that they pass you along. So this way they're like, hey, thanks for passing them along. They're awesome, right? So you have to be all those things to the gatekeeper, okay? You don't need to talk about any nuances around the deal at all. They don't care. They don't need to know, okay? Then you're going to get to the next person. Now, sometimes that's a scheduled meeting with all decision makers. And sometimes that's going to be just one of the decision makers that's possibly responsible for having to deal with, making sure that you are legitimate, to make sure that you are the right type of company to solve the problem, okay? So with that person, you want to be able to keep everything fairly high level, but offer enough information to where it shows them that you are different from the last people that, did not succeed to the extent they wanted them to. But also they have a clear understanding of what the execution plan is in order for you to actually get the job done. If you can do this correctly to that person, it's going to be easier for them to relay information. Okay? Relaying information is so important because, again, if you've heard of the telephone game, okay, telephone game is where like it goes in a circle. One person tells the next person, gets to the next person. Before you know it, by the time it gets to the end, it's a different message. Okay, so this is very similar. You're playing this telephone game. Okay, so you're talking to one person that influences the batch of people. You want to make sure you bring collateral just to circle back, right, for the next step. Like we said before, we want to make sure that they all have like a clear information on how you're going to execute, right? That makes you look different. So as you go through that, the next piece, when you have everyone in the room, because you're giving them everything here, very important. This is my favorite step. Number 4, you're going to work the room. Okay. Now, this is something that's so overlooked when somebody does a boardroom sale, because they try to treat it like a normal sale where you're talking to one person, and that's going to shoot you in the foot. Okay. The only thing I would say, the most important thing that you have going for you in that room is that you're the only variable that can be saying the same thing. Everyone else in that room, a lot of them are not in alignment, typically have different priorities based on what they want in the company, what they're responsible for, what they believe success is. We need to show the inconsistencies in the room and get everyone to understand we're the only consistency in the room. We are what they should trust the most, thus making what we say more credible because it's easy to trust, right? Because it's the same message being said over and over again. So the way I would handle this is if I'm in a room and we have like 3 to 5 different people around the room, I'm going to say like, hey, Kate, so, hey, I know you checked this out and you told me before you guys were trying to prioritize this specific result. Is that still the case or has anything changed? They're going to say, you know what? Yeah, it's this and also it's this. I'm going to say, okay, cool. Jim, would you agree with all that? Or is there anything else you would add to it? They're going to say, you know what, Rob? Yeah, actually that nails it all. You know, I also love to see this and this. Okay, cool. Anything else, Jim? No, Rob, that's really it. Okay, awesome. And hey, Jeff, I'm assuming you're feeling the same way, right? Like with what Jim and Kate said, like you're feeling the same way, or is there anything else you want to add to that? He's going to give me all that stuff. Okay, does anybody disagree with any of these points that we're making here that we're trying to prioritize? And at that point, so you can see I'm working the room, we're going to be able to see who's on the same page or not, because a lot of the time you'll notice this, they're going to be like, you know what, no, I don't think we should focus on that. Let's focus on this. And then you're going to start arguing amongst each other. And then I can help straighten their thoughts out, give them some clarity around their own thinking, thus making me look like even more the expert, because I'm helping the people, like the decision makers, align their thoughts. So I'm already doing something for them. Of course they're going to trust me more, right? I don't need to even know more about the topic. I'm helping them better organize their thoughts. So that's a really easy way to do it. And it's so important with every question you're going to the room, right? And asking the room for the feedback, asking the room for what they think about what somebody else said. So this way you can continuously be the only consistency in the room saying, yep, this is what that is. Would you guys agree? And that right here, guys, is how you set up the boardroom sale. Because at the end of that, we're going to say, look, based on all the information we've gathered here today, is there anything here that would not be in alignment for you guys if we were to include what each of you believe would create the success, which is right here? Is this in alignment for you guys to apply now, or how long do you have to wait to make this happen? Right? So now they're going to be able to say, dude, this is our runway. We all like this. You know, what's the cost? At which point now you're moving the call into the collections phase and you're working through logistics around money. A lot of time you're not going to see limiting beliefs in this type of sale around money. It's typically going to be logistics around how they pay you, when they pay you, fiscal cycles, whether they pull cash from another department in the company, whatever it looks like, right? So this type of sale, extremely fun. I would say if you can follow these 4 steps, I promise you, you're going to have so much more success inside the boardroom sale. This when you're dealing with a handful of people in a single room, whether on a virtual call or whether it's going to be at a physical location. And if you guys love this, man, let me know in the comments below. Hit the video, get a like in there. And if you guys are looking for additional sales training, we'll always include links around here. We are giving away a free year of Sales University to one person on each of our social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. So, and that's going to all be done on engagement, right? So for y'all that are like supporting us, commenting below, liking the videos, sharing the videos, we're going to find the people that are supporting us the most and give them a free year of Sales University. And if y'all don't care about that, you're just trying to get in the community, link will be around this video somewhere. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Trying to bring you the best training that we can for free as often as we can, at least once a week, to be able to help you land more deals. So until next time, I will catch you guys in the winner circle.